Hey, how's it going, guys? It is Olivier, and today, after 2 weeks of vacations, I'm finally back with my monthly update of my portfolio valuation for the month of July of 2025. As always, after taking a quick look at what are the different individual companies and ETFs that I still hold in my portfolio, we'll be taking a glance at what are the different sectors that I have in my portfolio, and after, we'll take a look at how much money I've been able to generate over the past month of June and since the beginning of the year from the dividends of these companies. And at the end, we'll take a look at what are the multiple transactions that I've made over the past month of June of 2025. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first sector, which is the technology sector, where you can see that I have 4 of the big GAFAM, so companies such as Apple, Meta, Google, and Amazon, as well as Tesla, where we can see that these 5 companies all represent close to 5% of my assets each. And in total, what is pretty interesting about these companies is the rapid growth that they've seen over the past couple of years and months, where we can see a company like Meta that is currently up about 215% compared to the average price that I've initially purchased it. In terms of the energy sector, you can see that I have 2 of the biggest Canadian energy companies in the form of Enbridge and Pembina. In the case of Enbridge, what is pretty interesting is the fact that the ponderation in which I am invested surpassed 10% of my total assets, with about 11.36% of them. But at the same time, we can see that these business also have some great unrealized profit exceeding 86% in the case of Pembina and only of about 32% in the case of Enbridge. But as you'll see later on, what is quite interesting about these 2 companies is the fact that they are distributing some excellent income to their shareholders in the form of dividends. Then in the financial sector, you can see that I still hold the TD Bank, where I currently have about 6% of my assets invested in it, and it currently has about 45% of unrealized gain. And for the other company, you can see that I hold one of the largest insurance companies in the entire world, which is Manulife, which is currently up over 100% compared to the initial price that I've purchased these shares. Unfortunately, my only communication company, TELUS, is still down compared to the price that I've purchased it initially of about less 16%, even if it's still distributing great dividends to their shareholders. In the case of my consummation company, which is Couche-Tard, you can see that I am still currently up about 23% on the initial price that I've purchased it, even if the company's value has been slightly diminishing over these past couple of months. Then I also have a few shares of the Savaria company, which is basically a company that is producing and manufacturing different stair lift and wheelchair lifts for older people. In their case, you can see that I'm currently up about 30% compared to the average price that I've purchased these shares, and at the same time, they are also distributing great monthly income to their shareholders. Talking about another company that is also distributing great monthly income to their shareholders, it is a company, Raucan, which is acting as a real estate investment trust. But in their case, we can see that the valuation hasn't been fluctuating a lot, where it is currently stagnating at about 40% of unrealized profit. Then I also have a few shares of the 5 and Plus company, which is only worth about 0.60% of my assets, but that is still up over 105% on the initial price that I've purchased these shares. Then for the ETFs that I hold in my portfolio, you can see that the first one and the largest position in my portfolio is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF with the ticker VFV. At the moment, this fund is worth about 11% of my assets, but I want to eventually increase this ponderation to at least 20 to 25% of my total assets. And it currently has an upside of over 46% compared to my average price that I've purchased these shares. Then to track the global stock market worldwide, I have decided to invest into the iShares Core Equity Portfolio ETF with the ticker XEQT. This one, once again, is only worth about 3% of my assets, but I want to increase this ponderation to at least 10 to 15% of it, where it is currently up about 17% on the average price that I've purchased these shares. For my ETF that is tracking the Canadian market, I have decided to invest into the iShares S&P TSX ETF with the ticker XIU. Just like for VFV and XEQT, I want to re-increase the asset ponderation in this ETF to at least 10% of my total portfolio. And right now, it is currently up about 24% compared to the average price that I've purchased it. Also, in my RRSP, I also have a few shares of the famous Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF with the ticker SCHD. On its side, you can see that it only represents about 1% of my assets, but I want to increase this ponderation to 5% in the near future, where it is currently up about 10.25%. Finally, for my liquidity reserve, which is quite useful, notably for my different real estate projects, I have used the Global X High Interest Savings ETF for this purpose. At the moment, I only have about 6.74% of assets invested in it, but I am right now trying to increase this ponderation to at least 10 to 15%. So it means that my overall investing portfolio is worth slightly short of $161,000 at the moment, which represents some unrealized gain of close to $53,000 or some upside of over 49%. Here you have the overlook of my ETF portion in my portfolio, where it is currently worth close to $42,000. But as I mentioned earlier, I want to increase this ponderation eventually to more than half of my total portfolio's value. In terms of the sectoral distribution of my assets in my portfolio, with no surprise, you can see that since I am aiming for as much growth as possible in the long term, the technology sector and the ETF sectors are the two largest sectors, representing over 50% of my total assets. Then the two other largest sectors in it are the energy and the financial sectors that are both worth slightly below 15% of my assets. And after, we can find other great sectors such as the real estate sector, the consumption sector, the material sectors, as well as the communication sector. For the dividends that I've been able to generate over the past month of June, I have the pleasure to announce you that it has been my best month ever, with over $641 generated of dividends for this month. This has mainly been due to the great distribution of dividends from companies such as Enbridge, Manulife, as well as Pembina. And so it brings my year-to-date income from dividends generated since the beginning of the year to over $106.71. And in terms of the transactions that I've made over the past month, you can see that I have been mainly reinvesting to buy more cash ETF to increase my liquidity reserve, and I've also bought one share of SCHD of more. But on your side, if you're looking to find what is my own investing strategy for the rest of 2025, well, check out the video that's going to be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.